Chase, my man, dude, tell me a little bit about yourself, brother.
Well, yeah, thank you for the invite. I'm from South Africa, and I've been studying art for my whole life. But I mainly studied art, business economics, and digital design in my early years.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I've been working corporate roles for as well about 20 odd years or so. But about 5 years ago, I kind of shifted all of that and my art towards storytelling, and really started working towards the idea of dinoDames. And I think pen to paper was about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, when dinoDames started. But yeah, right now I'm actually in Southeast Asia, and I'm kind of like pushing dinoDames in multiple languages, multiple layouts, like manga, and hopefully, eventually move towards merchandise, toys, T-shirts, and yeah, see where things go from there.
So you were in the corporate structure,
Mm-mm.
and then so what do you do? Are you still in the corporate structure, or are you leaning into dinoDames? Is that your main flow of revenue, or do you still have to hold a part-time job like us indies and have
Yeah,
three
yeah,
jobs just so you can pay for your passion?
absolutely. I've still got ties to some corporate guys, which I do some freelance work for. But the passion lies in storytelling and in basically pushing dinoDames forward. But I've worked as a creative director in the past, so
Okay.
whether I'm stepping in and doing some design work or actually helping lead a project or advise on a project, I always find there's something I can assist with, usually in the corporate space.
Oh, that's fantastic. So right now you do the freelance work to pay the bills, if you will, to fly you
Correct.
around Asia, and then your main goal and focus is to really get dinoDames to take off. Now,
Yeah.
dinoDames is fantastic, man.
Mhm.
Like the artwork is really incredible. The storytelling is. I love your. I really like that you coming to us forced us to evolve our reader, which was really freaking awesome. And the style of your comic is really cool. I have three screens, and one of my screens is tilted sideways. So your comic is freaking huge and like awesome on my screen. Like it's a full screen each page, which is really fantastic. It allows me to see how much detail you put into everything, which is really really great.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have an artist that leads the way on that, so I can only take little amounts of credit for it. So he's done a fantastic job, and I really appreciate all the work he has put into it. And we did start off actually in that Webtoons digital scroll layout, and
Mm-hmm.
we actually then only adapted it into page layout. So I suppose we kind of went a backwards route to how many creators do. But it kind of allows us to have these really large art panels, which gives us a bit of freedom and how we can cut them up and lay them out into a page. So it has its pros, it has its cons, but it's worked out.
I think it flows really nicely.
Yeah.
I think that the book flows really nicely. The action sequences flow nicely. You don't get super confused because sometimes when you're going the side to side paneling, yeah, like they get really complicated and like, oh, this is so awesome in their mind, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, what just happened? Wait, what part is this? You know what I mean? Like it gets confusing, and your layout is really clean.
Mhm.
Like it's super clean.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a room for improvements. That's the great thing
Oh,
about
absolutely.
design and art. But yeah, I would love to be able to say we could throw more money at different types of layouts and so forth. But the way we're trying to tackle dinoDames right now is have multiple options and layouts, how people like to read, moving into multiple languages, and manga is a whole different ball game as well. It all runs backwards. So we're really trying to, I suppose, be many horses right now or play many roles. But at the end of the day, we would love to be able to go back and improve things and make things better once we have the funds, of course.
So I kind of want to just kind of hit on something you already said. So you are from South Africa?
Yeah, no, I was born and raised there. So I mean, well, I'm almost 40 now. So spent
Welcome to the party.
At least 37 odd years of my life in South Africa, and I mostly, sports-wise, messed around on the mountain bike and all of that, and worked in the studio to pay the bills.
How did your geographical location impact your creativeness with dinoDames?
Yeah, no, it was actually a great spot to, I suppose, start dinoDames, because Cape Town, where I'm from in South Africa, has a really quiet vibe to it. But once dinoDames had some content behind it, once I was getting to that Comic 3, Comic 4 stage, I was really struggling to find people to communicate with. How do I grow the brand, whether it's merchandise and all of that, and being stuck at the bottom of the world where South Africa is, really limited me in, I suppose, my opportunity that was being presented to me on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And by moving here to Southeast Asia, the opportunities are always, being discussed. There's always, more ideas coming to me, or people are coming to me with suggestions. There's as well a much stronger social network here in Southeast Asia. How people share stuff on social media and all of that. So it was an unfortunate thing. I had to move away from South Africa to try and actually get dinoDames to have more traction.
Okay. So did you come up with dinoDames in South Africa, and then you moved to Southeast Asia, right?
Yeah. No,
so where exactly in Southeast Asia are you living now?
Well, I'm Chiang Mai, so that's just north area of Thailand.
You get to see all them awesome temples and stuff.
That's
cool.
Yeah, I might as well just a trip away from China, or Japan, and animation would definitely be a dream. I would love to push dinoDames towards, but so many studios here, which I'm hoping to eventually talk to.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So, are you in conversations with studios now? When you say studios, are you talking like studios or publishing houses?
Well, I'm already published with Mark Osa, who's based in the United Kingdom, and studios would be probably animation studios that have some sort of history with creating a series or a movie in the animated space, and they would actually really be interested in whether it's sponsoring, teaming up. I'm not sure about all the details, but really help take some of the heavy burden off of me to really take dinoDames into this new media, because I'm a storyteller, script writer. While I might have directive points of views, animation is not something I've really studied besides messing around on some animation programs back in the day.
Right. Well, you got it. You should just make it on Real Engine 5 already. Make it look real.
Well, between AI, I'm hoping something comes out of that area that allows us content creators to produce the stuff cheaper, easier, and just makes it all more, I suppose, manageable.
So, speaking of AI, since you brought it up, are you using AI currently in any form or fashion with dinoDames?
No, we don't use AI at all with our creative process. We have, we started off literally just with myself, a designer, and writer, editor, and an artist. And that's slowly grown into now, we have a 3-man art team. And so, it's slowly expanded the team itself, because the amount of man hours it requires to put together this type of artwork.
Yes.
If I had known what I was getting,
is what I like to call it.
If I know what I was getting myself into, I might have only just made 2 lead characters, but here I am with 3.
Nice. Well, there's such a perfect dynamic between them, though. I'm glad you did the 3, because I think it adds a lot to the stories. And so, like, the dinosaur aspect of it is what first caught my eye when I started reading your comics. And what sparked the idea for dinoDames? What came first? Was it the dames or the dinos, or like how did this all come together?
Great question.
Gosh, yeah, I think it's a mixture of inspiration ideas. Primal and Arcane, the animation, were big leaders to help me actually get started. And Primal is very much just about caveman running around in a dinosaur age. And Arcane has been quite successful on Netflix recently. Whether it's their really fantastic world full of fantasy and they're very strong female lead characters. So yeah, that sort of helped me push me in the right direction, I guess. But I've always had a fondness for dinosaurs. I'm always watching Jurassic Park. I always love like horror and stuff, sci-fi, fantasy, and all that. So it's a lot of mixture of things that help me, I suppose, create the characters, craft their personalities a bit, and individually, Trash, which is I suppose kind of my favorite character a little bit. She's the youngest of the troop, but yeah, she's a Jinx sort of Aladdin type of character, street rat, if you will. And my Viking Skugamaru, she's actually comes from or gets a lot of influence from the TV series Vikings. And that played over the last, I think, 3, 4, 5 years or so. So I love that TV series. And Tribe is just a classic Conan the Barbarian and Xena Princess Warrior.
Ah, yes. That's awesome. So when you were creating the characters, what inspired you? Because they each have their own type of dinosaur, and I'm assuming that relates to the type of personality that's portrayed. Like Rat, she has a raptor, which is pretty awesome, my favorite. And so what got you going in that mindset of like developing the character and the character of the dinosaur? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a side character like Robin Hood to Batman.
Yeah, absolutely. I think their names in themselves sort of like really give each character a really strong representation of who they are or where they come from or what they're about. And a big influence of mine is manga and animation, and they're very well known for basically having these very comedic and humorous scenes, suddenly where the characters go from very serious artwork to something a little bit more cute.
Yeah, their eyes popping out of their head. Like, what the hell? Yeah.
So we had a real mixture of how can we have 3 strong female lead characters with their little companions, but allow them to have some personality to jump between these very serious artwork battle modes to comedic humor, and each character gets a little funny and strange about things. So I think that's really where we tried to do a lot of mixing and matching of dinosaurs and our main lead characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's great how the dinosaurs are kind of the supporting characters, and they help build the personalities of the main characters that you have. Yeah, I really like the dynamic between them all. It works really well.
Thank you. Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you were about to say something.
Oh no, I said hopefully we can expand on we have chibi artwork, which is cute artwork of our characters and that. And I would love to run a little spin-off comic of our main story, which sort of just runs with chibi artwork. And hopefully we can just work more on the humor and just make more jokes, whether it's our characters going to a kitchen to learn how to cook something, or
that's awesome. Go
to a shopping mall to do shopping together with their dinosaurs. It's really just I suppose a silly spin-off to the main story.
That's great though. That kind of creativity is fantastic, because already in my mind I can see Trash popping one of them grenades off in the kitchen. I can see the dinosaurs looking all oh my gosh, I can't believe we're here at the mall again, and the girls are that's classic. Yeah. That's fantastic. That's classic.
So much you can do, and it's cool because you've got such a diverse world that you've put together. I love how you match everything together. What kind of what made you choose the world building that you did? And
because when I when I first opened the comic, I'm seeing like flying cars and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, what is going on here? And then all of a sudden, I see this girl running through the streets, and she's got a battle axe, kind of. Not a battle axe. It's more of like a smaller axe. It's not a real full battle axe. And then she runs into a dinosaur. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What world am I in? Like, that is incredible.
Yeah, no, we try to really open dinoDames up to a landscape of different fantasy options. Whether it's having a futuristic mega city, which we've actually named Heaven, and we have Viking tribe in the frozen Northlands, and of course tribal kingdoms across safaris and savannas, and tavern cities that have trolls, humans, orcs, and like all sorts of fantasy beings. So we wanted to open a world sort of has all kinds of possibilities to it. Steampunk pirates, magic wielding druids, and epic monsters. Always epic monsters.
Monsters. Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. Epic, truly. Yeah, that's fantastic. So is this what is the grand like arc, the story arc for this? Because you have so many directions you can go with that, because you really brought in so many different points of time for referencing and to build stories up. What is your anticipated story arc with this?
Well, I mean, I guess I would love to see how well we can just do with our first story here, our first story arc, and whether it's create an animation or spin-off stories, toys, merchandise. From there would really allow me to say, okay, well, what would the next story be? What would be the add-on story? How can I basically build on dinoDames as a brand in a positive way without me just creating more and more content? So I think, it will definitely be a growing experience as I finish dinoDames, but this is about a 3 to 5 year journey, I imagine, that I'm on until I really finish the next 2 graphic novels.
So you have the 6 comics right now, and that makes 1 graphic novel, right?
Correct, yeah.
And then you're going to be doing, I'm assuming, 6 or some number of comics to make the 2nd graphic novel, and then 6 or some number of comics to make the 3rd graphic novel, and that's the entire story arc.
That's correct, yeah. I mean, I've actually written everything. My storyboard artist is already 2 chapters ahead of my team that does the fine artwork. So, we've created a conveyor belt of jobs and tasks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the team's had to grow over from when we started to where we are now, which is, at least I think for me, being positive. We're at least moving in a growth period right now.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That is fantastic. What were you going to say, Lindsay?
Oh, I was just going to ask, which he already answered, if he had everything outlined out already, and where he was at with the process of the entire.
Right on.
Yeah,
that's incredible. So you've already got the storyboarder 2 chapters ahead, and don't let them think they're all that and a bag of chips, because they need to know that the artist be suffering.
Yeah,
under
absolutely.
the grueling weight of what they have to go through to interpret that storyboard.
Yeah. Now, sometimes you got to keep each team with like horse blinkers, so they only concentrate on the task in front of them. Otherwise,
if they see the other side, they're going to panic and take off, and you're going to be like,
what? Exactly. Yeah, that's what they're worried about.
Fantastic.
So, I mean, I know you have the rest of it planned out, and this so far, where it's gotten the first graphic novel or the first 6 series is really great. Like, what kind of, can you give us like any hints about what you've got coming up in the next 2 graphic novels, the other volumes?
Yeah, I mean, I'll share a little bit, but let's just say that the team's about to bump into these flying steampunk pirates.
Okay, that was set up in the
Cool.
And then they're gonna kind of end up in this. I like to just call it like the dark forest, and it's got like all the creepy stuff from giant spiders to fairies that shouldn't really be, pretty. They're
Fairy.
they're more like wasps, fairies, and
That-
it's kind of taking the team a little bit into 2-3 episodes of horror, but like in a manga type of action way, and still, of course,
That's
trying to
cool.
keep our funny bone while we get through this dark forest.
Yep, the humor is what I love. You do a great job of blending like the kind of serious backstories of some of them and like the deeper moments with like the humor. So the comic relief, I love that.
And that's probably worth mentioning is you'll actually get a flashback of each character and sort of where they've come from and what I suppose why they are the way they are. When I say flashback, sort of back to when they were like children, or very young.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So so through the next storytelling, that's where you're going to start to pull in their backstories and really build on the character growth and the is it called the hero's arc or something like that?
The hero's
journey.
Oh,
hero's journey. Thank you. Yeah.
No, I definitely laid the hero's journey model in front of me when I started writing dinoDames. So it's definitely taken that methodology.
That's awesome. That's cool. I mean, it's a well tested I guess way of doing things because it's pretty. I know about it. I don't know much about anything, so.
Well, I mean, towards like the last 2-3 episodes, we had to slip in a little bit of an emotional side to things. So even the screen has gone from not so serious to team building to versing the big villain to something scary and something emotional to sort of bring the hero back home.
Yeah, which is going to be perfect, and this will be done in 2. What's going to happen in 3? Well, don't tell me. I can wait. I promise.
Yeah, that happens between 2 and 3.
Oh, through 2 and 3. Well, all right.
Yeah.
This is going to be fantastic because this is really impressive. Like, this is really impressive. It's interesting because you've gone from this corporate structure to the indie world and talk about 2 different realities. You know what I'm saying? Like, corporate is structured and it's supported and you have massive teams and everything's kind of, if you will, don't take offense to this, corporate executives, but it's all lined out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've already been there, they've already done that. You've got a roadmap to follow, so you're kind of doing what everybody else does in the corporate world, in my own personal opinion. When you go into the indie world, you're on your own. You're like trash, just setting out on that first adventure going, oh man, I've heard about this territory and it's going to be super hard to survive, but we can do this, rat. And that's the kind of feeling you get when you go into the independent world because there is no roadmap. Like, everybody is just boosting each other up just to try and make it to the next day. So it's really impressive that you have taken on this hero's journey, if you will, Chase. For you, this is like a hero's journey for you to create this awesome stuff that we get to enjoy. And I hope everybody does go and take the opportunity to enjoy these comics because they are done fantastically. His team is exceptional. I mean, the artwork is amazing. The way that the flow goes is really smooth. It's easy to traverse through the story versus where sometimes, you get into those stories and it kind of gets so complicated so fast. You're like, oh, I'm kind of lost. And you have to go back and figure out what was going on. Yours is really smooth. It's really easy to follow, which is really nice because it carries you through the journey. You're like writing on the story versus trying to pick up the pieces. I really enjoy that.
No, thank you. I think, at first, once I completed 3 episodes, I really had put a lot of weight on trying to, sell. But now I'm just at a place where I want to make sure I enjoy the journey and actually I create good content and not worry so much about the sales right now. I think I'm going to work a little bit on that idea of if I build it, they will come. So I'm just going to keep on.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, that's a crazy idea, the Field of Dreams.
Thank
But
you.
the truth is, I do really admire the fact that you're putting the story before the money. Okay, the world is run by money. We all know this. That it stops with the almighty buck. But the truth be known, people who do things outside of the governance of money always do things that are great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think your drive and your intention and your focus is just admirable. It's really admirable because to tell the story is so important. And that's what I've found I love about indie creators. They really do put the story before the fame and the money. And I know it takes money to run. And please, everybody out there, support Chase and his dinoDames, because he's an independent creator who needs our support and we need to give it to him. But the fact that you're putting story first, you're a bad A, dude. You're a bad A.
Yeah, no, it's been a learning curve for me. Difficult times, easy times, but I think now I'm on the road where it's about the story first.
Yeah, dude. Oh, fabulous. Well, it shows. To put a team together, to put something of this quality together, that it takes passion, and you can hear it just by the fact that you're going story first. You're going with your creation first. Like, it's got to speak to us. That's what's going to move people, and that's what's really going to draw people in. And you're on the right track, Chase. Like, fan freaking tastic. Like, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And your artists are fantastic. Tell them I really like their artwork. Like,
yeah. I put them through hard work, and they do fantastic hours. And all in all, I owe a lot to what dinoDame is to my art team. So thank you.
I think we kind of touched on this, but how do you see dinoDames growing? Like, you've settled, you've looked into a little bit of animation and stuff like that, and you've thought about making stuff for sale, merchandise like in Spaceballs. But like, what are your like strategic moves to get this moving? Like, do you have a plan to like take it global? Are you going to focus in Southeast Asia, where your network is right now? Like, do you have a plan on how to traverse that network to get it to spread like globally?
Yeah, I've got a couple of colleagues and friends here in Thailand, which are already sort of helping me build on ideas and traction. But I think, one of the ideas is really trying to make a base for dinoDames, sort of a place where a lot of face of the product can exist, whether it's posters, copies of dinoDames on tables. So, I've been talking with coffee shop owners and seeing maybe if there's a base that I can set up there and put dinoDame stickers on their coffee mugs, do some sort of like promotion with Dino Coffee, and read a intro to the comic. Maybe there's some sort of reward and prizes. So there are ideas bouncing around. But I think the idea with being here in a place like Thailand, and so close to so much tourism always flowing in and out of the country and the city, is trying to put more of a face to dinoDames, more of a physical location, if you will. And I've spent so many hours and days and weeks and months, on social media and trying to grow that traditional method. And I think, it's just, there's so many people doing it. It's such a diluted space. So it's definitely difficult these days to, grow an Instagram account and get many followers through, I suppose, the traditional method. So I'm trying to do something a little bit different with dinoDames. But I think, it requires me as well to have a little bit more content. So we're finishing comic number 7 right now. And I imagine once we kind of finish that second graphic novel and we've got all comics put together in a cover and a print, it will definitely allow me to have more opportunity as well to talk to studios, to actually send content to animation studios in Japan, China, Bangkok, South Korea, and try to see if they're interested in teaming up. Talk about merchandise, talk about an animation.
What has been like, because you're witnessing the progression of this, right? Like the first comic is always going to be different than like the seventh comic when it comes to the refinement of the creatives and stuff that they're producing. What have you seen just in that?
I think one of the big ones definitely was trying to make sure that when these characters actually met up, that their personalities didn't become too similar or start clashing a little bit. Ooh. So yeah, that was really something we had to watch out a little bit for. And there was even some feedback we got about reading 2 early chapters. They felt like, oh, the characters were feeling quite similar. So it was just something we took note of early. And again, juggling 3 characters plus their dino companions, it definitely had to keep me on my toes to make sure that the writing didn't get too lazy. The characters suddenly didn't feel like they were producing the similar jokes or similar perspectives. So yeah, absolutely something I had to watch out for.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Now did the art evolve as you guys went along, or did you guys kind of start out with that, and did you hold that refined look through all of the six comic books that you've created so far?
I think when we started, dinoDames is a little smaller than what we thought it was going to be, and we really put in a lot of love to those first 2-3 episodes, and suddenly when we realized, oh gosh, we're on a 15 comic epic here, and then we were like, oh gosh, what have we got ourselves into a bit? But the artists, that we could have definitely done a few things earlier to help speed things up, reduce costs a little bit. But I guess we've chosen this path of high quality, high color visual, and yeah, we're almost halfway through.
Well, it shows, definitely.
I appreciate it.
I really enjoyed your books a lot, and so yeah, that's what caught my eye and why I started reading them. And I came across them because you put them in CryptoComics, and I'm wondering, like, what made you decide to try blockchain, as something for your comic books in addition to the other things that it sounds like you've been working on?
Yeah, I think blockchain ownership is very unique in itself. It's not mainstream quite yet, but I think it's just a matter of time before it grows. Just like the internet and websites and social media pretty much took over everyone's lives. So I think blockchain is just one new step in a new direction to ownership and collectibles. And yeah, I think comics generally are struggling in the print space. I mean, they have for years. I mean, I think we can argue that comics have been struggling since the day they came out even. But hopefully blockchain will hopefully make things more accessible to many users around the world. And that's all hopefully a little bit affordable.
Yeah.
Concerning blockchain, you're over in Thailand and South Africa and those regions and stuff like that. What's what are people, your contacts, your networks, stuff like that? What are people's views on blockchain that you're talking to and dealing with? Like, how are people looking at blockchain technology?
I think right now everyone seems a lot more open to crypto ownership. Whether it's the Bitcoin or XRP and all that. As soon as you start getting a little bit more niche about certain cryptos, people seem a bit clueless. And in blockchain ownership, NFTs, still feels a bit more niche when talking to some people and trying to get them on board, or finding the people that do actually own NFTs. It's definitely a tricky field sometimes to communicate and navigate, because even when talking to someone completely new to comics or my story or whatever it might be, if they are anti-NFTs, and they hear, oh, I like NFTs, they're quick to suddenly, shut off dinoDames to any possibility of conversation or whatever it might be. So it's definitely a tricky field right now. It's not easy all the time. And I think NFTs, when it comes to, I suppose that's, what would you call it? Like avatar ownership, that Magic Eden and all of them very much run. I think that's what takes over people's minds when they think about NFTs. They don't really think about ownership of content or animation or movies or books, comics. So it would be great if we could find a way to clear the space a bit to actually have content creators step in and not just be about avatar pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing that we run into a lot, is like the conception is what was before, right? Where the NFT bubble, and it was like all these like avatar images that were worth all this money, but like didn't really have a lot of intrinsic value. And like that's where with CryptoComics we tried to bring in like a different angle where it's like there's the collectible value, right? Where the blockchain like tracks each issue. And so now we're making digital comics collectible. And like you mentioned earlier about the accessibility, it's just cool because, we can read and collect your comics and, in a digital format when, probably a print one would not have been as accessible to us just because of shipping costs and, because we're, on other sides of the world. And so I think those benefits of blockchain and that it makes things collectible, and we're trying to do it where they're affordable, right? We're not trying to price them out of the average person's range. So yeah, right. I think that kind of like actual value in NFTs where it's like a comic that you can read and enjoy and also collect will become bigger as people are ready to adapt, like get used to the idea of like having cryptocurrency and spending it, and get away from the idea of like, these high priced things that don't maybe have a lot of value.
Yeah, and it's also us creators' responsibility to make sure that we're putting this stuff up for reasonable prices and all of that. So, crypto comics, it's a great space to give us creators this opportunity to put up our content, but find a way to make it reasonable, because I would love the owners to find a way to, whether they trade it or own some form of collectible online, that makes me as a creator actually feel quite happy that I'm able to add a little bit of value like that.
It also allows us to bring something into the comic book space that has been lacking since the beginning, which is royalties to the creators. One of the cool things prior to the show is I got to buy trash from Lindsay. Oh, yes. Wrong way.
I had we were sold out, and I had an extra copy, so I was like, okay, you can.
I'm like, yeah, I'm buying it from you, which is awesome. And another thing I really, really love is you hit on is you both said you've made it affordable. That is one beautiful thing. Like that was one thing in the early in the crypto. When I first got into crypto, I was seeing these avatars selling for stupid money. And they were just these pixelated pictures. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And my true understanding of blockchain technology is the ability for us to own our own data. Like it's no longer monetized by the big advertisers. We actually know now that data is important. It's valuable. And we own our own. And where you came into CryptoComics and put your comic up at a reasonable price, bro. I just want to say thank you. And it's so refreshing because one, you limited your number, which was fantastic. That adds the collectability factor, which is important, because it is digital collecting, which is so the idea of a avatar one of one only had value because it was one of one. That there was the value. Your comic book, in my own personal opinion, is so much more valuable than that one pixelated picture because it may be one of 10, but it has beautiful art. It has a beautiful story. And when I purchased that, even though it's a digital copy, I own it. Like Lindsay, she owned that copy and then she sold it to me. And the cool thing is through the blockchain technology, we can make it so a royalty is paid out to you. So you don't need the big numbers, but you do need the smarts on how to price it, because people who go out there and they put these insane prices on stuff, it's so depressing.
No, I think books, comics, magazines, these all sit more in luxury purchases. So, with the economy never being really strong, especially for the last, it feels like 20 years, 30 years. But I think it's our responsibility as content creators to find a way to make things more affordable. And, if you guys have the time to actually sit down and read our content, that there is already a huge win. And so for me, so thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. Thank you for creating something so engaging and so nice and pleasing to actually read through.
Thank you. I appreciate the praise.
Well, you guys deserve it. You and your team are fantastic. Lindsay told me about dinoDames, and I'm like, okay, that sounds kind of all right. dinoDames, like, what are these, like half breeds or some kind of weird freaking mutant story or something? And then I get introduced to it, and I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, this is cool. I like this, and I'm totally blown away by how incredibly like open your world is. Like, that's the cool thing. My ignorance put me right there with dinoDames. Oh, this is based in like a caveman type, situation. That's what my first thought was. Like, oh, it's going to be caveman-y type stuff, but the women are the rulers. And then I go into it, and it's like, oh no, that's not even close. Like, this is a fanciful world of, I want to see where this goes. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, we got flying cars, we got cities, we've got all of these things that in a reality, like a real reality, you wouldn't think would merge together. So now I want to see how you guys are going to merge all of this together in some fanciful story. And I think it's a great, like, culmination too, because you're taking something old and putting it with something new. It's beautiful. Like, I love that fantasy.
Thank you. I mean, even our Viking character, her whole village lives in this sort of old traditional tribal way, and as you say, trash comes from a mega city. So we've definitely tried to mix and match fantasy options and fantasy landscapes.
Yeah, which is done really well. Like, really well. Again, I'm so impressed with the artistry, the color. Like, I really love how bright and beautiful that is. That probably is some of your heritage from South Africa, because lots of bright colors in Africa.
Yeah, we definitely had plenty of designers and artists sitting around looking for work in South Africa, myself included.
That's cool. And you've created work.
Yes, yeah.
Like Chase, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, suddenly one thing I realized, like 2 years through, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm suddenly responsible for a team and some salaries, even if it's just a small salary.
Yeah, but it's a meaningful salary. A couple of shekels can be life-changing.
Yeah, no, my team, like, they've definitely, not only put in the love, but they have found a way to say, hey, they believe in dinoDames, and they're happy to work for dinoDames at a slightly reduced price to what they might charge traditional corporate clients or whoever they might work for on the side. So my art team has really, they believe in dinoDames, and they don't just work for the brand.
That's fantastic. So they've really become part of it.
Absolutely, yeah. And as I've always said to them, if dinoDames ever finds a way to grow wings and flies, they're going to be there with me all the way through.
That's fantastic. I just picked up all 6 of your comics for like $8. Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic to me. That's fantastic. Like I can afford that. In this economy, I can afford that. And you're clearing Thailand. Like, yeah. Like that even makes it cooler.
Yeah, suddenly, you realize something like, how far a dollar goes in many other places in the world. So, charging $4, $5 for a digital comic sometimes isn't always the most feasible thing.
Yeah. Well, it gets expensive really fast. And I understand American creators deal with American bills. You know what I'm saying? But man, you really nailed it, Chase. Coming out the gates, you really nailed it. Like, props to you and your team. You guys really thought this through. You've created something spectacular. I believe it has legs. I believe it can go far. And I really want to say thank you. Thank you for giving us a chance to just be a part of your adventure, your journey, and to have the opportunity to showcase this, because this is like, I really do like doing this. It's fun to meet new creators, meet new indie creators, and actually like see what they're doing and how they see and what their strategy is and what they view as important and what's not important. What you stated to me is so awesome. Like, it's so in line. I do believe dinoDames has legs. I think you're going about it the right way. I think your team is fantastic. I just skimmed through number 2 while we were sitting here. That's getting crazy. But, oh, dude, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, even Skugumuru, my Viking, she has a little bit of influence from Berserk, Guts.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've definitely
Yeah,
got,
she's my favorite so far. She's kind of a brute.
Yeah, pretty much. That was sort of her character. She's like the responsible brute. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a quick introduction. I was like, oh, and she killed who, what, where, when, why, and how? What? Oh, that's awesome.
That story will come up later as well.
This is fantastic, Chase. This really is cool. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey, like a part of your adventure. So this is Trash. This is the first comic in the dinoDames series. And we've been talking about it a lot. The color is amazing, as you guys can see on the screen now, because I'm sharing this comic. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you guys because I want you to go in and I want you to buy dinoDames and support Chase and his team so they can keep making great dinoDame comics. But as you can see, the artwork and the color, the way that they've laid it out, it's really fantastic. The word bubbles, they're big, bold, easy to read. The drawings, clear, concise. You can see what's going on. You can follow real easy. Just a beautiful layout, beautiful color, beautiful creation, well written, well directed. Here's the second dinoDames, published by Mark Kozia. And again, just a great layout. The way that it's put forward, the way that the artwork is done, the color, the graphics. And Chase, feel free to add anything you want as I'm scrolling through the first couple of pages.
I think, something we always try to have fun with while making each panel is the background characters. And we always try, make them as colorful and as different as possible because, those small details definitely add depth to the world without even a reader realizing how deep they're getting into the visuals. So very important little detail as we design the background and the background characters.
Yeah, you can see this old lady's, she's literally got saliva dripping off her teeth because she's an old hag. Like, that's exactly what it's saying.
We try and put in those small little bits all over the place.
That's fantastic. So this is the third book in the dinoDames series. Currently, there are 6 available comics in CryptoComics Marketplace. They're coming out with a graphic novel. And is the graphic novel due when number 7 comes out, Chase, or is the graphic novel just the first 6?
the graphic novel will be the first 5 chapters, and
Okay.
and then once we finish, because we've actually finished 6 chapters, so number 6 is available as a single, and once we finish 7 to 10, we'll compile that into graphic novel number 2.
Okay.
And inside the
So
graphic novel,
each graphic novel will be 5 chapters.
correct, yes.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
CryptoComics is the only place right now that has the scrollable version of dinoDames. Otherwise, everywhere else in the Web 2 space is only the panel layout, which is the traditional page layout. So right now, that's something unique to experience on CryptoComics with dinoDames is the Webtoon scroll experience.
It really flows nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean,
I love how it looks.
I'm a traditional comic reader, since I was a kid, but I even enjoy reading in this layout.
Yeah, it's so much easier to read digitally because it, especially if you're on your phone, which is where you read a lot if you're like in bed or something, and it's just nice to be able to.
Yeah, no, I think that's what whether you're sitting on the train or at work or at home, dinoDames should be easy to read. And right now on CryptoComics, that's definitely the approach we tried to take here.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it works really well. I'm really, again, this evolution of our reader to cater to this style really paid off. Really paid off because the experience is enhanced. The flow is great. You don't get confused with where the story's at, which I'm just one of those people who get confused, I guess. But it's just fantastic. And again, the art is so nice. Like, look at how well you can see everything in the panel. That's really fantastic.
I mean, one thing as well with the scroll option is you have these very long panels, usually with a sunset or a moon into a village or into a main scene, like this one here. Sky to sunset into a monster, and you can't do that with page or traditional.
No.
So this is almost a panel you probably have to cut into 2 or something like that for page, but on scroll you're able to get this almost camera feel to it.
Yeah, that's cool. It's almost a different strategy to give the reader the emotion of the setting, and I love that.
Yeah, you start out top and it's beautiful and sunny, and you're feeling that. As I scrolled into this page before we started sharing screen, I felt that. I felt like, oh, it's a beautiful day. And then all of a sudden I get down here and I'm like, what the heck? Like, oh my gosh, it just got dark real fast. Like, what is, you know what I'm saying? That's a fantastic sequence to experience. It really is. And I am so glad that Lindsay just kept pushing. She's like, no, dinoDames is awesome. I'm like, oh yeah, how awesome. All right, come on, tell me the truth. And then Freak Man, like, you got something cool here, bro. Like, this is really neat. This is really cool what you're doing. And again, just talking with you, your focus is really good. Like, it's pure, it's authentic, it's genuine, and that speaks volumes to me. That is a true indie creator. Put the love of the art and the story above everything else, and guess what's going to happen? That story is going to reach people.
Yeah. I think I had to also realize, dinoDames wasn't going to be finished in 2 years, 3 years. This was sort of like, a 5-year, 8-year journey. And, that was okay because it just made me realize, this isn't a race. It's sort of an adventure.
No, it's an endurance. It's really great. And I'm really happy and I feel very privileged to be a part of this journey, just in this interview that I've gotten to do with the great Chase.
No, well, like I said, I'm more than happy to hear people took the time to read dinoDames. So thank you.
I'm going to read all of them now. I have to. I read that first one and I was like, oh, this is really good. And then I skimmed through the second one. I'm like, oh, I want to know what's going on. And then I want to see the third one because she doesn't even look like the first two.
Yeah, no, she's a completely different personality.
She looks like the mature one.
Yeah, yeah.
The mama character. Like the one who's going to tell the other two, stop being crazy. The other ones are going to be like, what? You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. I can already tell that the second one's like the Idahoan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually, in a later episode, they bump into, I suppose, like it's spirit animal humanoids, but they kind of got a cute feel to them. But they kind of get to see themselves for a moment, and they kind of see why everyone in the group kind of goes, okay, I see why I'm irritating. Like,
that's great self-reflection.
Yeah.
Sort of like they bump into their self-reflection moment characters, a little bit.
Oh, that's great. That's great storytelling though. That gives you the ability, and I'm just guessing because I'm not a great storyteller. That gives you the ability to even deepen the character because the character self-reflects and can bring awareness to their own character flaws or attributes. That's
it's a little bit of like a comedic self-reflection that happens.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I like that. I like that. Yeah, dude, this is cool, Chase. It's been a pleasure meeting you, Chase.
It's been really great chatting to you guys. I appreciate everything that you've done, and like I said, the fact that you've even taken the time to open a dinoDames page. Thank you.
Our pleasure.